Revelation 2400. From the 8th of July 1942. Suffering comes upon the righteous and the unrighteous. It is foreseen in divine counsel that a time of unspeakable suffering will come upon the earth for the sake of human souls. Their salvation will only be possible through much suffering, and thus humanity will have to endure much sorrow and hardship, which shall result in a change of thinking, and many righteous people will have to suffer for the sake of these souls, and this again serves them for spiritual higher development and perfection of their souls. They are, as it were, forced to sacrifice their state of suffering, which they cannot completely escape, to their fellow human beings, that is, if they bear it without grumbling and complaining and surrender to everything, they are, as it were, sacrificing all suffering to those who are in need of purification. The righteous must suffer with the unrighteous and often also endure the consequences of the latter's way of life, but his spiritual state of maturity also lets him recognize the necessity of what God sends upon people, and thus he surrenders to his fate without complaint. He is already permeated by God's will and does not oppose him in his thinking and feeling. Rather, he tries to make the meaning and purpose of the difficult trial clear to his fellow human beings and to move them to distance themselves from the world and to devote themselves to the care of their souls. He reproaches them for their wrong way of life and its consequences and helps those who are too weak and yet have good will. The righteous must suffer with the unrighteous, but the suffering will be bearable for him because he will not walk his earthly path without God. He will receive strength and not feel the suffering as severely as his fellow human being in need of purification, and thus he submits to divine will. And if he has to give up his life, then he will be granted twofold grace in the kingdom of the beyond, so that he will not lose the blessings of earthly life if he has not yet reached his state of maturity. Then he will have laid down his life for his fellow human beings, and he will be rewarded for it. For God gives to everyone according to their merits, and every undeserved suffering results in the richest blessing, as soon as the human being humbly accepts everything God sends him. Amen.